Welcome to the Max Potential Habits podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda Barrientez, the founder of NFA Coaching. I'm a Max Potential Habits expert, and it's my mission to teach you actionable strategies that will help you be a business building badass. Every week on the Max Potential Habits podcast, I'll bring you tips, tools, and inspirational stories from successful business builders who will share their max potential habits that helped them create rich, thriving, kick-ass lives and businesses. Now let's get to it. Hello, everyone. Welcome for the first time or welcome back. My name is Dr. Amanda Barrientez, founder of NFA Coaching. I'm so glad you're here. I'm doing a new strategy. That didn't work. I love that. I'm doing a new strategy today of doing a video in my office. I've been playing with this a little bit. If you're listening on the podcast, you're not going to be able to tell, but if you're watching on IGTV or YouTube, you'll see that I'm in my office and I've been switching back and forth between office and studio, playing around with things. I'm really working on what I can create out of my daily life content-wise and help you all grow. So instead of making a big production of a video, I just want to seamlessly go, I'm ready to make a video because I am constantly learning, constantly growing, and coming up with new ways to teach all of you. And I just want to record that on the fly and share it with you. And so I'm in my office today, and I just finished recently this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This book is awesome. It actually blew my mind. When I picked it up a while back, I thought, the title I thought it was going to be kind of a lighthearted book and funny. And it is funny, but it is powerful. And it's one of the best books I've read in a while. I read a lot of books, about a book a week. I try to read or listen on Audible. I'm constantly learning and growing. And some of the books, there's of course parts that I agree with, other parts I don't agree with. This book was packed with a lot of valuable content. So I want to focus today. It's by Mark Manson. For those of you who don't know, check it out. It's a powerhouse. If you're ready to really face yourself and change, it's something you're going to want to read. It's an easy read, but it's going to give you lots of content where if you really want to transform your mindset out of a victim mode into radical responsibility, this is a book for you. So something I want to focus on that he talks about that is something that I work with and work with people on and teach in my coaching is that pain spurs us into action and that suffering is growth. So I think a lot of people try to escape and avoid suffering. And it's interesting because, it depends on what religious philosophies you're following. I know Buddhists talk about suffering being a part of life and it being inevitable. But then in a lot of personal growth and development, or maybe even religion, or even in stuff you're seeing, there's this positive psychology movement where it's kind of like think positive, be positive, do positive, and that'll shift. And the reality is that there's a balanced approach and a balanced perspective to looking at suffering and looking at pain. Pain is absolutely essential for growth. You don't grow without pain. You don't grow without challenge. So the optimal growth occurs at the border of challenge and support. So if it's all support and you always feel comfortable and you always feel cozy, you can't grow. Imagine if when you were learning to walk, you fell down and hurt your knee and never got back up again. You wouldn't learn to walk. Everything we do in life takes suffering and challenge, but it's your perception of it that makes it feel bad or feel good. So the goal for me isn't to feel happy in life. The goal is to be fulfilled. And to be fulfilled, I'm going to need to choose my challenges. And so what he's talking about is this idea that pain spurs us into action. So stop trying to avoid it. Stop focusing on the trivial things and look at emotions as feedback. He says happiness only occurs when you find the problems you enjoy and enjoy solving them. So I call this chosen challenges. So once you start to do this kind of work where you balance your mindset and see all sides and you go, okay, in the history of my own life, the history of the universe, there's always this flipping back and forth of challenge and support. pain and suffering, and then pleasure. I call this the upward spiral of growth. So you're going to feel a moment of like joy, joy, pleasure, awesomeness. Things are going great. You're learning, you're growing, you get to the top, you're like, yes, I'm at the climax, I'm at the peak, everything feels great. And then down you go to the next evolution of yourself, where you get to upward spiral to the next quantum leap of the next growth of you. And at that lower part, people can perceive that as pain, or they can see it as growth opportunity, life learning lessons, and they can think of emotions as feedback. So this is another thing he talks about, is emotions as feedback. And this is something that I love and value because I teach this as well. So if you think about negative emotions, they're actually a feedback system. So, he says just because something feels good doesn't mean it is good. And just because something feels bad doesn't mean it is bad. It's about your perceptions and the way that you work with it, right? So I love this. He's really funny. So he says, you know who bases their entire lives on their emotions? 3-year-old kids. So there are a lot of good laughs in this book, but it's pretty serious. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what this book offers. So definitely get it. What I want you to walk away with today is thinking about emotions as a feedback system. If you're feeling sad, hurt, angry, upset, think about how you're handling it and what your perceptions of that are. Are you treating it like a 3-year-old kid would, having a temper tantrum, blaming other people, thinking that the world is against you, stuck in this victim mindset? Or are you going to look at that as feedback and go, where am I out of alignment in my life? Where am I not congruent with living in my highest values? Where can I make some shifts and adjustments to be better, do better, have more, and become the fullest expression of myself? Where can I stop complaining and start taking on chosen challenges to get where I want to go? If you're a person who's constantly stuck in this trap of complaining about everything and everyone around you, and you're thinking that everyone else is to blame for your reality, then you're never going to get unstuck. That mindset will keep you stuck in a victim mode, victim mentality, where you think that you aren't in control of your reality. And the truth is, if you take a stance of radical responsibility and you look at you take a curiosity standpoint and go, okay, I'm really feeling off and sad and stuck and frustrated in this area and this area and this area. Now, what am I going to do about it? There's so many resources out there for you to shift. Don't make the excuse that it's other people's problem. Don't blame everyone. Don't blame your parents. I know 50-year-old people who still blame their parents for them being stuck. That's ridiculous. And I am an NFA coach for a reason. I'm not going to fuck around telling you some BS thing that like, oh yeah, I blame the whole past. No, take responsibility for yourself and do what it takes to lead a fulfilling life and business. You can do it. There are tools out there. Start with this book if you want, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Join me on my training that I do each week called Max Potential Habits. I'm about to release a new money course, which I'm super excited about. Be looking for it on Monday, May 20th. It's going to be called NFA Money Magnet Habits. It's going to be an online course with payment options so everyone can take it. I can't wait to release it. It's going to be very powerful. I'll share with you my story from going from food stamps to 6-figure income and on my way to $1 million. And I want to help people with their money world be empowered, but you're not going to be able to do it if you have a victim mindset. So start with the simplest places, the power of a book. Start with this book, work on yourself. So those are my tips for you today. Start really asking yourself how you can grow, how you can take responsibility and become a master of yourself, and then do what it takes. Do the work. You've got this. I want you to have an incredible, fulfilling, thriving NFA week. And if you're loving this video, please take a screenshot, or this video or podcast. Please take a screenshot, send it out to your friends, review, subscribe. It helps me grow and meet more people, reach more people, make a larger impact on the world, helping people really feel deeply fulfilled in their life and business. That's my dream, my mission, my drive, my quest. I'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you're liking this podcast, make sure you subscribe and leave a review. This will help me help more people max their potential to thrive. If you want to be a part of the Max Potential Habits community, go to nfacoaching.com where you can get my free Thrive Roadmap that will teach you the 6 steps I took to go from food stamps to 6 figures in only 3 years. And you can also find out how to join my live weekly online training that happens every Monday with other NFA Max Potential Habits business builders who are driven to succeed. Until next time, I hope you have a NFA day where you thrive and feel alive.